Only visible now because the water's so low. It was found by an instructor at the Adventure Centre. Natural causes, then? Unlikely, sir. Why? It was tied to an anchor, weighed down. So, the kettle clicked off. Still holding the phone, he poured water onto coffee granules. Murder? There was a brief silence. Perhaps the sergeant was expecting a rush of orders. Instructions and queries fired one after another. None came. Instead, Porteous asked calmly, "Any identification?" "Can't even tell the sex. It looks as if it's been there some time." "No rush, then. They haven't done anything daft like trying to lift it from the water." "I'm not sure. Tell them to leave everything as it is. Are you clear?" "Exactly. I want the pathologist there. I seem to remember that water has a preservative effect. Once the corpse is lifted from the lake, it'll start to decompose very quickly. Make sure they understand." "Right, sir. Get hold of Eddie Stout. Tell him I'll meet him there. And, Sergeant—" "Yes, sir." "I'll need a car." Before leaving his office, Peter Porteous drank his coffee and finished reading the report on his desk. The town had its back turned to the lake, was separated from it by a small hill and a forestry plantation. There were no views. Many of the older residents could remember the valley before it was flooded to create a vast reservoir, and still disapproved. They had quite enough water. In the hills it never stopped raining. Let their city dwellers fend for themselves. The road to the lake was signposted Cranwell Village and showed a no-through road symbol. Beneath it was a brown tourist sign which said Cranford Water Adventure Centre. Cranwell Village was a scattering of houses on either side of the single-track road. There was a church and a pub and a country house hotel where, the month before, Porteous had briefly attended a colleague's engagement party. Then there was a bend in the road and a sudden, startling expanse of water, this morning dazzling in the sunlight. The lake had a circumference of 30 miles. The valley twisted, so although Porteous could see across the water to the opposite bank, each end of the reservoir was invisible. The lane ended in a car park with a grassed area to one side and a couple of picnic tables. There was a notice board with a map showing a series of walks and nature trails. A gravel track followed the lake a little further north to the Adventure Centre, a wooden building of Scandinavian design, surrounded by trees. Porteous parked by the notice board and studied it before walking up the track. Detective Sergeant Stout had arrived before him. His car was parked in one of the residents' marked spaces next to the building. He wore, as he always did, a suit and a tie, and looked out of place in the clearing, surrounded by trees with pine needles underfoot. An officious garden gnome. Next to him stood a fit, middle-aged man in shorts, a black T-shirt with the Adventure Centre logo on the front in scarlet, and the rubber sandals used by climbers. Porteous always treated Stout carefully. The older man had been expected to get the promotion which had brought Porteous to the team. He was well liked, but too close to retirement now to move further. "Thank you for getting here so quickly, Eddie." As soon as the words were spoken, he thought they sounded sycophantic, insincere. Stout only nodded. "Perhaps you could introduce us." Stout nodded again. He was a small, squat man, with the knack of speaking without appearing to move his mouth. He would have made a brilliant ventriloquist, though Porteous had never passed on the compliment. "This is Daniel Duncan. He's director of the Adventure Centre. One of his instructors found the body." Porteous held out his hand. Duncan took it reluctantly. "Perhaps I could talk to him," Porteous said. "Her?" Duncan said. "Helen Blake. She's a bit upset." "We should give her a few minutes, then. Is there anything we can see from the shore?" From where they were standing, the view of the lake was obscured by trees. Duncan led them along a path to the back of the building, to a dinghy park where there were